Many come here for Buddha. Few stop for this. These ruins were once a university. 10,000 students from across Asia, 6 centuries before Oxford. These burnt bricks tell a story. Let's find out. Okay, I'm here. This is Nalanda, around 640 CE, a Buddhist monastery but also the biggest residential university in the world. Those monks, I wonder if they're thinking I'm some new foreign student. If only they knew. 1,500 teachers, students walking for months to reach this place, from China and Korea, from Sri Lanka and Sumatra, from beyond the mountains. And to get in, you had to clear an oral test right at the gate. Most who tried were turned away. All of this nearly 1,400 years ago. Now just think about this. When this place was already old, already famous halfway across the world, Oxford, Cambridge, none of them existed yet, not for centuries. The first great universities on the planet, and one of them was right here, in Bihar. One sec, let me put this shawl on. It's a living monastery, not a museum, so I want to walk in the right way. There. Now, let's see what a day here is actually like. Hear that? That's not a fight, that's how they learn. Debate. One monk attacks an idea, the other defends it, back and forth all day long. And it isn't only Buddhism they're arguing about. They study logic, grammar, medicine, mathematics, astronomy, the Hindu Vedas, and even the philosophies they completely disagree with. If all you knew was your own scripture, you'd lose that debate at the gate. You had to know everything. That's what made this a university and not just a monastery. And this is the part I love. A Buddhist monastery, but the kings who built it, the Guptas, were Hindu. Hindu rulers funding a Buddhist university. And inside, students arguing over Hindu, Jain, and Buddhist ideas all in one courtyard. And this one, the part that breaks my heart a little, and you'll see why soon. This is the library. They call it Dharmaganj, the treasury of truth. 3 buildings. And the tallest, they say, stood 9 stories high. Every book here, written by hand on palm leaf. Copies of just about everything known across Asia. Scholars came from China just to read what was kept inside these walls. You've heard of the Great Library of Alexandria? This was the Alexandria of the East. Every bit as grand and far less remembered. Every morning, before the sun is even up, a bell rings. And thousands of monks come out of their cells at once and walk down to the ponds to bathe. 10,000 people, one bell, and the whole city moves together. How do you keep time with no clocks? Like this, a copper bowl with a hole in it, floating in water. It fills, it sinks, a drum sounds. The whole university knows another hour's passed. Students run it, in shifts. Genius. And what leaves here changes the world. Padmasambhava carries his Buddhism over the mountains into Tibet and Bhutan, where he's still revered as a founding saint. Xuanzang walks home to China with hundreds of manuscripts on his back. This place taught half of Asia. And the ideas from here still shape the world. In these halls, they studied medicine, setting bones, mixing herbs, the healing arts that still run through Ayurveda today. Nalanda didn't just hold knowledge, it grew it. Look at that. Every one of those lights is a room with someone inside reading. This place stood for 700 years. People passing knowledge hand to hand, lamp to lamp. Longer than most countries have existed. Standing up here, at the very top of it all, it feels like it could last forever. It didn't. And that burnt brick I showed you at the start, that's where this story goes next. Around the year 1193, an invading army reached Nalanda, led by a commander named Bakhtiyar Khalji. Rich walled monasteries like this one were prime targets. The one account we have says that when his men found the great library, they burned it because none of the books were about their own faith. You've probably heard the library burned for months, millions of books lost. Truth is, we don't know how long or how many. Those numbers came much later. But this much is certain. It was lost to fire, just like Alexandria. But there was a silver lining. 40 years later, a traveler from Tibet came looking. He found 80 halls in ruins and 2 still standing. Inside, one teacher, 90 years old, and 70 students, still holding class, still keeping the light on in the ruins. So that's what the burnt brick was. 700 years of learning, and we let ourselves forget it was ever here. But the story doesn't end there. Not far from those ruins, a new Nalanda University has opened. Students from more than 20 countries. Same name, same idea. Turns out you can't burn that. I'm Maya. Subscribe, come along and tell me, where next?